Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of TalkSports, where we continue to highlight the people, organizations, and ideas that are shaping sport in the Caribbean and beyond. Well, today we are focusing on a topic that extends far beyond competition stage. It's about healthy living. I will say physical fitness, personal discipline, and encouraging more people to embrace active lifestyles. Joining us is Cecil Mitchell, the president of the Grenada Bodybuilding, Weightlifting and Fitness Federation. And while many people associate the federation primarily with bodybuilding competitions, its mission is much broader. It is actually committed to promoting healthy and health and wellness, I should say, basically, and developing athletes, encouraging participation in strength sports, and creating opportunities for, people of all ages to become more active. Well, this afternoon in particular, right, we will discuss the Federation's plans to recruit new members as well, including women and young people in particular. It's preparations for upcoming championships, the Central American and Caribbean Bodybuilding and Fitness Championships. I think it will be in Guatemala this year, and the exciting news planned locally throughout the year. We'll also try to examine how the Federation hopes to change public perceptions of bodybuilding and demonstrate that fitness, strength training, and healthy living are for everyone, not just elite competitors. So I say, Mr. Mitchell, welcome to TalkSports. It is a pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you, Mr. Bascom. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Right. And right off the bat, many people know the organization, simply as Bodybuilding Federation, but your official name includes weightlifting and fitness. Tell us about the federation and its wider mandate.
Right. So it's always a pleasure to talk about bodybuilding and fitness. It's something I've been very passionate about for the past 10 years at least, or I would even go far back as I would say for the past 20 years, because I gravitated to it because I saw the discipline and the passion that came from a lot of the athletes. Despite the hiccups and the challenges that they faced, like the lack of funding, lack of support, and also not being part of the Olympic Federation at the time, we branded as a drug sport, which we have been called. I saw these guys and I decided, listen, this is what I will support, and this is what I will stand with, and this is what I will be behind. So to answer the question, the name is the Grenada Bodybuilding, Weightlifting and Fitness Federation. So it covers a wide range, and we amended the name from the Grenada Bodybuilding Federation in 2022 when we held our elections, where I became once again, I continue being president, and because our mandate is to promote bodybuilding, fitness, wellness, and weightlifting in the island of Grenada, right? So we promote the sport of bodybuilding and fitness and wellness and also weightlifting in Grenada. So we coordinate all the events, and so we recruit athletes and we promote fitness, we promote general health, because general health actually would eradicate and encourage persons to think about their general future in health and wellness, and to limit the onset of chronic disease in their later life, right? So we're not just about competing or building big muscles or moving large objects or gymming. We're about promoting health and wellness, right? Healthy lifestyle.
Mhm. That's good to know. And what is the current state of bodybuilding and fitness in Grenada as it is?
Well, as it is, we had some challenges around the time of COVID where we had the closure of a number of gyms. And I would say the postponement of a lot of the competitions that we would have annually. For example, prior to 2020, we would have held our local competitions in strongman, that's weightlifting, and also in bodybuilding. That came to an abrupt halt, and no one was expecting it. But so I would say we're still trying to rebuild, and resensitize, and to grow back our membership. Prior to COVID, we probably had over 50 competing athletes, right? And that's men, women in strongman, in bodybuilding, in bikini fitness, and a number of different disciplines. Since then, the numbers probably would have shrunk to probably, well, it's shrunk to zero. And we're rebuilding now. We probably have about 18 competing athletes in both strongman, bodybuilding, and fitness physique. But one of the challenges we're having right now with our rebuilding is that we seem not to be able uh, to entice the young ladies, and sometimes we get a couple of them joining in, but our problem is sustaining or maintaining their interest, right? So that's one of the things we're still recruiting, and we're using different approaches to try to get new members to get back into the sport of bodybuilding and fitness.
Yeah, and when we talk about bodybuilding and fitness, we know at this time of the year in particular, we tend to
Mhm.
see a lot of the young ladies in particular swarming to the gym. Is it for bodybuilding? Is it for fitness? Is it for wellness? What it is?
Right. So you see, so that's one of the issues, right? Now, the fitness or is not a sustainable thing, and that is one of the myths that we have, in that persons are very seasonal with their approach to health and fitness, and not always throw in health, because with bodybuilding, with working out, with gymming, it comes a measure of fitness and wellness and health. And we find that coming up to the season, that's a carnival season, Spice Mass, you find a lot of persons gravitate because they want to capture that summer body, right? So a lot of persons, yeah, they set these goals and objectives for themselves, that they want to do it for this, and then what happens after, right? So fitness and wellness is about consistency and continuing even after the season to work out and to live a healthy lifestyle. So that's one of the things and if you go to the gyms right now, you'll see that all the gyms are packed. You'll see lots of persons on the road exercising. You'll see them doing all sorts of things. But what happens after Carnival, after Spice Mass, which is, that's a question.
Right. At the same time, let me welcome my co-host Rudy and Sylvan in Toronto. Also, Edwin
Yeah,
Sam in New Jersey. Good afternoon to you, Edwin. And Cecil,
yeah,
the aspect to of, and we'll look at a lot of myths, throughout the
yeah.
program and try to
There's a lot
debunk
of
some
them.
of them.
Mhm.
But the whole idea of fitness and healthy lifestyle and all these things, basically, they are the core of sports in particular, right?
Right,
Whether you're a boxer, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a volleyball player, basketball, or cricketer, the whole aspect of fitness in particular is at the core. So,
right.
how, as a federation and as a president of such an important federation, have you been able to sell that message of fitness and the importance of fitness because we've seen it, whether it's West Indies playing cricket, whether it's Grenada playing football, whether it's whatever Caribbean, in particular in the Caribbean, we see the deficiency in our competitors having to do with fitness. So how, as president of such an important federation, you are trying to sell that message to the other federations or other sporting organizations?
Right. So perfect. So it's a topic that comes up very often, but we do need the support. We need additional voices to sing it. We need you, we need all the other media personnel, and most of all, we need our Olympic committee, our Olympic personnel to assist in selling this message to the other federations. Because we always say, and we continue to say, that our bodybuilding and fitness federation is the foundation of every other sporting foundation that there is, right? As you would have said, be it boxing, be it swimming, be it cycling, you need to be fit, you need to be strong. So, in other words, you need strength training, you need fitness training, you need endurance training, stamina just be it. We need a lot of we need the gym. We need to run. We need to build our stamina, and we need to keep saying it. We need to tell all the federations they need to believe in it. I mean, even if they look at the athletes, and it's something that we have monitored over the years. Uh, our athletes leave Grenada whether to compete in football, athletics, and this weakness always shows itself. Where what is it that our Grenadian athletes are lacking, and most of it, right? So they have. Let's look at swimming for example. Now, the swim coach would have assisted in the development of their form or their strategy in doing their races. But what about the endurance? What about the stamina? It's something that we always need to look at. So it don't matter which sport it is. Even golf, for example. Some persons might say, well, golf is just making a swing. But the truth is, even with that, you need muscle coordination, you need muscle strength, right? You need muscle endurance. So no matter what it is, right? So we just constantly need to be reminding persons, right, to go to the gym. They need to work out. It's not just about doing their discipline, but it needs to be like a holistic training, right? So it's just the constant sensitization. So what we would have done over the years, and this year we decided to change the approach a little bit. We have gone to the secondary schools, we've gone to meetings, we've gone to workplaces, and we're preaching the same message. We've gone to GBSs, we've gone to STARS, we've gone to all the secondary schools. But one of the things that I would have noticed in some of the other islands when we traveled earlier on this year is that they start at a younger age. They start at the primary school level, and in our last meeting, we raised it. Why not? Let's not continue to start at the secondary school level because by then the students they're already programmed into the sporting discipline that they want to do. In other words, by the time we reach form 3 or form 4, you already know. Listen, I want to run or I want to play basketball, but we know if we start at the primary school level, that's when they are the young ones, they're just developing, they're just learning about sports. Why not teach them about just general fitness, general healthy lifestyle? Because somehow, once we talk bodybuilding or we talk about weightlifting, somehow these two expressions, it's it creates this stigma for different reasons. What I would have gotten from very intelligent persons this year, I mentioned weightlifting and I mentioned bodybuilding or strength training, and the two concerns always come up, and we talk about debunking this. One is safety of the young ones. Bodybuilding and weightlifting seems to be considered dangerous to young people. And two, the second thing is there has always been the stigma that once you see someone building muscles or being extra fit or having extra stamina, that they're using illegal drugs, right? So our federation, we have a zero tolerance for drug use. Basically, we're part of the Olympic Committee, and in extension, we're also part of the Anti-Doping Association that's represented worldwide. So we basically do not promote drugs or drug use, and we are tested like all the other athletes on an annual basis. We are random tested. Um, at home in Grenada, and even when you go to competitions, there's also testing, right, at the competitions. So basically, we just have to continue sensitizing and just letting everyone know that it's not just about going on the stage and posing and flexing your muscles, right? It's not just also about the show or you go to a show or an event and you see the athletes pulling the trucks and all the fun things that we do, but this also has a the core purpose is to promote a healthy lifestyle. But all these exercises that we do, we're building stronger muscles. We live in healthier lives. So, for example, in your later life, you would be healthier, you would enjoy a better quality of life. And the next thing is that it would also enhance your performance in your other sporting events. Help us sell it, Michael.
Yeah, well said there. Good afternoon to you, Rodian.
Yeah,
Hey, good afternoon, Michael. Mr. Mitchell, good afternoon to you. It's a pleasure
absolutely.
to have you on. Quick question. Um, well, how can you silent the critics in terms of saying bodybuilding is about drug use? How do we silent that? I understand you explain it in terms of there is testing in the Olympics part, but let us ignore that Olympic part of it. How do you silence that? That is not about drug taking because somebody is built, they're on steroids. How do you silence that to the people?
Right. So, I mean, like we're doing now, we're talking, we're saying, listen, our athletes do not use drugs because they're tested often, right? So there's the mandate of the Anti-Doping Association to test us as well. So we have also, what we have done, even the last few times, is that we have also published our test results. For example, when we get the results back from the testing personnel, we will publish it even on our social media, even in programs like this. We will talk about it constantly. But to be honest, what could we do more? Because I mean, you know that there's always that stigma. Listen, and I know it's created from we look at the big events like the Olympia event, for example. So you look at those big international events where some of the athletes and they really don't hide it, but drug use is allowed. Now, there are different federations, and not all the federations worldwide, and we're talking bodybuilding now, that are part of the World Olympic Organization, right? Not all of them are recognized in that area. Some of them are just basically promoters for, they're promoting bodybuilding events for the purpose of making money, right? And Olympia, the Olympia event, which is one of the biggest events in the world, is one of those events that is run by a promoter, right? It's not under the International Federation of Bodybuilding, right? And we are members of the International Federation of Bodybuilding, the World Organization, and one of the no-nos is that we can't use drugs, or we shouldn't. If if we found using drugs, one, we'll be banned, sanctioned, and not just the athlete, but also the federation, right? And it has happened over the years to some other athletes. They would probably get a ban, 2 year, 3 year ban, and it's published as well. Now, I'm proud to say that Grenada, up to this point, and that's Grenada Bodybuilding Federation, has never received a sanction or a ban from the international body, right?
That's
Certainly,
that's
that
good.
is a
That's
very good
interesting.
thing. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
very good thing.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
are you and to follow up there too? Are you looking mainly for competitive athletes, or are you also encouraging recreational fitness enthusiasts to become involved?
Right. So over the years, well, basically that's where we get our pool of athletes. So we used to run Fit for Life Gym. Well, that's before COVID, and together with the other gyms on the island, we would have had events where the purpose of the events was for recruitment. So besides the school visits and the work visits and um, the events that we would have and the corporate events that we would have from time to time. All right, it's like going into the workplace and sensitizing radio programs like this. Um, we would generally always promote a healthy lifestyle first and foremost. Secondly, we encourage from that pool of persons who generally live a healthy lifestyle and work out. We say, listen, um, this federation is not only for those very huge persons, or those big guys you see walking around. I mean, I went to an event last night for Carnival, and like there were just so many guys. They're walking around, and like it's flex season, eh? So all the guys flexing, and one of the things that I noticed is that our dress code has changed. The way we would have dressed, and I'm talking women now, to go to an event, has changed. The swimsuit, it has become the national dress code. So I went to it's a party, it's a fete in Grenada, and I realized that all the women were basically dressed in swimsuits. And I'm thinking, I said, boy, if 1% of these women, would say, listen, instead of just showing those bodies um, on in a party. Why not come to the federation and let's help you develop it. And you could even be a competitor and represent Grenada in a bikini competition. They were just everybody was in bikinis. All the guys were shirts were off, and I'm talking about in a fair. So I'm still hoping that athletes would come forth, and it happens every day because I'll be honest with you. the athletes that we have now. So we would have had 9 athletes competing in the Roger Boys event, which happened in May, right? And out of those 9 athletes, we still had about 3 or 4 of them that did not make the final cut for the team. So let's say we have 15 bodybuilding athletes. Um, and it's the numbers are constantly changing. Every time we would have a screening. So we have a screening that will be coming up probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Then that's for the TSE. We see new guys coming forth, and within the last 2 weeks or so, we had about 3 new athletes coming forth wanting to compete in bodybuilding. And just the same way, we had another 2 or 3 coming forth wanting to take part in the strongman or the lifting events. Now, notice I say guys, right? So that's one of the things is that we need more ladies coming forth, right? Within the last year, we had one lady coming forth and saying, "Listen, I want to do bikini or I want to do physique." Unfortunately, within a month of her starting her training, she had an accident and she would have damaged a ligament. So that would have been the end of that for now, right? How unfortunate. But we just need more and more athletes to come forth. I mean, it's not that we don't have any, but we still need more, right? And this is what I was saying just now. So we're looking at the adult pool. So this is why we decided to go back and say, listen, you need to do grassroots. Let's go back to the schools. Let's start talking to the kids at 6 years, at 7 years, right? Let's train them just generally about health and fitness, right? Even just developing their muscles, exercising generally on a daily basis, exercise, living a healthy lifestyle. So going back to the grassroots, I believe that that is where it's going to be. And so I've had one meeting so far with the ministry, and this is something that we're going to talk about. How are we going to get the youth involved in active fitness and exercise, not bodybuilding at this point because they're 6, 7, 8 years old. But let's talk about fitness, exercise, living a healthy lifestyle, eating healthily, eating the right foods, not eating the foods that are bad for you, right? So this is where it has to begin. That conversation has to begin there, right? And what we always need is we need personnel because I can't do it alone, right? The athletes look good, so they would attract people will be attracted to them and say, listen, I want to be like this guy or that guy. But we need persons to go out with us to the schools and to start these programs. And this sometimes is the challenge. So we always have the funding challenge, all right, where to get the funds and with everything there's a cost. Sometimes to get these trainers to go out down, they wouldn't want to do it free. At least they have their bus to pay, they have their gas to buy. So they would at least need a little something to keep them going. But so we would always need funds. But first and foremost, we need the human resource. We need personnel to come forth and say, listen, guys, I want to be part of your federation. I want to jump on board with this. This is something good. You know, I mean, there's just so much things to talk about, every time because no, I'm talking about this. No, what comes to mind is childhood obesity. No, these are all so I would have written all these programs that I want to do. Now, there's a lot that I want to do, but I need more persons to say, guys, I want to join with you and not necessarily for the purpose of personal gain, but this is a Grenada thing. This is about us. Well, we're talking Caribbean. This is healthy lifestyle, healthy living. The kids are our future. So childhood obesity is another big problem here, and all of this, just the fitness, the exercise, the diet, the lifestyle changes, would also affect the amount of obese children, right? So you have an obese child living in a home with obese adults. It's almost inevitable that they will grow up to be obese adults as well, right? So with the obesity, now going back to we have chronic disease, right? So you have the high blood pressure, the diabetes, the cancers, the prostate cancer. You have a number of things, high cholesterol, which is also associated, right, with an unhealthy lifestyle and obesity. So what we're talking about is something really big, and to be honest, like Michael, it's bigger than me. It's bigger than all of us, right? And this has to be the bodybuilding federation has to be a national movement who's gonna start the change, right? It's a big change. I know you're feeling what I'm saying, but we just need persons to come on board and say, listen. This is not about me. I'm not doing this because for the money, but I'm doing this because I see the need, like I'm doing it. And this is why I'm here still, and I've been here doing this for
Well,
the past 20
it
years.
is
You
a
know,
big
so
challenge for
yeah,
you and the federation to be selling
you're right.
that,
Mhm.
selling the message, I should say, because
Yeah,
I'm listening to you and I'm thinking of, and I'm using, let's say, track and field as a very prominent and popular sport in Grenada and
Mhm.
the Caribbean, for example. And you'll ask yourself, how many of our coaches have a program that deals with fitness, that deals with the physical aspect, than just the athlete coming every day and doing a couple 150, and things like that. So on the track, what amount of time is set aside for whether it's in the gym or whatever it is that deals with fitness?
Mhm.
Same thing for probably basketball
Right.
or for tennis,
Hmm.
and I'm asking and again, it points to the whole issue of whether or not those kids are from a very young age are taught the importance of fitness, are they are taught the importance of physical well-being, their physical well-being, what
So
they're eating
I'm
and
gonna
all of
tease
this
your
stuff.
brain with another part again, another thing that we didn't mention yet. So let's talk again. Let's talk mental health, right? So that is another issue. Now, at the end of the day, you know, sometimes I have to tell these athletes and say, listen, guys, I'm not being paid for this, right? Because sometimes, you get that level of entitlement where, they want, right? They need the help, they want the help, and sometimes they forget that there are people behind the scenes making it happen, But what drives me sometimes is, to see that, I mean, I'm going to say something that's very, very strong. No, we also save lives, right? And I mean, I could speak about this openly because I've had conversations with guys. Like, I mean, I could play messages, I could play videos, I could play thank yous. Where some guys would have came forward and say, "Guy, Mr. Mitchell, boy, thank you so much. You saved my life because what I was going through, and what I had to deal with. I have so much stresses. Either my mother died, or I'm the only one in the family, and would you believe what fitness and exercise does for your mental health, right? You're going through a lot, whatever it is you're going through, and finding the gym or finding the workout changes everything for you. So I could clearly say that there are a number of guys that we saved their life, right? They were at the point of some of them were at the point and they came straight to me and say, boss, we were at the point of committing suicide. We were going to end it all because we thought that there was nothing, right? And finding the gym, finding these competitions that you would have taken us to, that gave them a whole new outlook on life, right? I mean, I've had persons even for this last competition come forth, and some of these stories are very touching when you go down to the nitty gritty of what is happening in these guys' life at the time, and finding not just the competition, but the camaraderie among the team, the other members that share the same common goals, going away with a group, the fellowship, the membership, the everything. This is just something so big, and I will continue to say it's bigger than all of us here.
Mhm.
So there's just so
Um,
much that this federation does, even behind the scenes, that is not published. In other words, you wouldn't even see it. You see, oh, Grenada went away and we won a gold medal, or we won a bronze medal, or we got a pro card. That's what you see. But behind the scenes, we have so many stories, right? We have so many accomplishments, and I'll be honest with you, these are the accomplishments that keeps me going or keeps my team going, as opposed to just the gold medal.
yeah. What would you, you know, but there are a lot of things that coming out of that. Traditionally,
Yeah.
bodybuilding has been viewed by some as a male-dominated sport,
Right.
and so whether or not that perception is changing, and how
Mm.
does the federation plan to attract more women and girls, and what would you say to a young woman who believes, you know, bodybuilding or weight training may make her too muscular, you know. And even further, can you basically explain the different categories available for women, you know, such as, you know, you mentioned earlier, bikini, fitness,
Right.
wellness, figure
Right.
and women's physique, and
Right.
how they cater to different goals and physique.
Right. So let me start. I'll start with the men a little bit because I think it's easier. It's easier to make the connection if I speak of the males. Right. So we know what bodybuilding is, right? So you see the very big muscular. I mean, there's a bodybuilder from my time. We know Arnold Schwarzenegger. We know Ronnie Coleman. These very big guys. They look like gorillas, right? So over the years, bodybuilding has changed, right? So from this bodybuilding, they came up with classic bodybuilding. Now, the classic bodybuilding is we're talking a different physique, not the big monster looking guys, but the more of the Arnold Schwarzenegger, um, more chiseled. What should I call it? Not finding the word now, but not as huge and monstrous. Then they say, listen, you know what? We shouldn't keep a lot of other guys out of the competition. So they decided to widen the scope a little bit and they created something called men's physique. So men's physique, when we just introduced it into Grenada, we call it beach body because basically it's not a very big muscular guy. Literally, these guys look relatively ordinary, but the criteria they're looking for definition, they're looking for muscle tone, they're looking for fitness, they're looking for a chisel physique, not carrying a whole pack of muscles, right? And then they started breaking that further from the men's physique. I mean, if you just see the difference between the men's physique, because it's a regular guy like yourself, Michael, you could take part in men's physique. You just need to, probably take a month to the gym. And then you have the very huge guys, right, that look like
Probably
a monster.
me and Rudian could probably join that.
Uh, right. So I mean, so coming to the woman, it's similar. So back in the past, they had women's bodybuilding. No, these women, they look like men. I'll be honest with you. Some of them, they look bigger than men. Very muscular, very hard. Like sometimes even their face looks so hard that you wonder if it's a male or female. And then they tend to lose their feminine look. In other words, like the breast area seems instead of seeing soft breasts, um you see more muscles. Like even when you look at the chest, they look like a man. But people, or should I say the audience, the spectators, they started moving, their taste for that started drifting away, right? And, we started wanting to see more the feminine look, right? And then they came up with the woman's physique, which again is like a female bodybuilder, but less bulky, more chiseled, more defined, more physical. And then they drifted again into the woman's bikini, which is a woman in a bikini looking relatively feminine, but very fit and defined, right? So what would have happened over the years with that? Now people liked it, but they found that didn't cater much for the black woman, right? So you find more of the Caucasian type woman gravitated to the bikini because it tailored for their shape, right? We're talking generally the cocoa bottle shape, yes, but certain areas, for example, the glutes and buttocks, right? What they were looking for there, our woman didn't necessarily fit the criteria, right? So what we found, what they created a few years ago, they created the woman's wellness, right? So the woman's bikini, and now they created a women's wellness, which is also a woman's bikini, but it tailored more for the Caribbean or black woman, which carried a little bit more thickness, right? So we're talking about the wellness is yes, a defined, well, very physical, very fit woman, but thicker, right? Just as what we know as a Caribbean woman. So over the years now, so the woman who wouldn't want to be totally stripped down to hard muscle, you're allowed to be softer, and carry that certain amount of femininity and still be a competitor in the bodybuilding field. But the thing is, what these women, you see them on a daily basis, they do not look like that, right? So a bodybuilding season basically lasts for 1 year. So you have that stage where you're basically working out like any other person. You're doing your workouts and you're more or less keeping fit. Then you have that pre-contest phase when you probably would either one, put on more weight, or two, lose weight. And then there's the third stage, which is the pre-contest phase, where you basically burn all your body fat. Well, again, that's the intention. Now, after that stage is completed, this is the look that the women fear, because this is where they look very hard and they look very masculine. Well, not masculine, but hard, because it's not, we're getting away from the masculine look. We're talking bikini. So they look very hard and the muscles are showing, the definition is showing, the muscle separation is showing, and they look very strong. Now, that look probably would only last for about a week because on competition nights, remember you would have gone through that stage where you would have been dieting, you would have been burning fat, you would have been losing your water, etc. And from that night of the competition, that changes again, where you would start back to eat your pizza and your regular foods, and you put back on your little your little weights and your little body fat, and you look normal again. And that these women look normal almost all year round. It's only just before competition they prepare for competition, they prepare for the stage, and they lose the fat, right? So it's not about looking as a quote unquote man all year round. They don't walk around like that. You'll be surprised to see how some of these women look. You'll be surprised to see how they interact on a daily basis. They have children, they live normal lives. They do everything that regular women do. They're not different. All we keep remembering is, hey, we see this woman on the stage and she look hard. I don't want to look so. But remember, this is the woman preparing just for that show, looking like that, and it's only for that special occasion.
Yeah, well, I think Alita Rampasad is saying fitness, workout, gym life do help with mental health. They fully support. And I wonder if Alita is one of those who, one of the females that will want to be on the stage, though. But,
Yeah, thank you, Alita.
yeah, but Rudy, I don't know if you have something, but let me just, Grenada, like many, Caribbean countries, experiencing, from what we have heard, experiencing increasing rates of things like you mentioned a while ago, diabetes, hypertension, obesity. How can regular exercise and strength training help combat these lifestyle diseases? And I'm speaking to you now as not just the president of the Grenada Bodybuilding and Weightlifting Federation, but also as a pharmacist, a professional pharmacist. You're a trained pharmacist, and obviously these are things you will be experiencing on a day-to-day basis in your profession. So how can strength training help combat these lifestyle diseases?
Right. So, right. So strength training. Right. So you're speaking to me as a pharmacist. So then I must include the others. Right. So, strength training by itself, that's just just one of the factors that we look at to combat the chronic diseases. Right. So with the strength training, you also have to look at the amount of water that you consume. Right. Because at the same time, your strength training, but you still have to drink enough water to keep the muscles hydrated. Right. Two, general lifestyle, we're talking now about your diet. Even if you're strength training, you still would have to eat healthily. But at the same time, the fact that you are training, right, or strength training, it allows you a little bit more leeway. For example, someone who is not strength training. So we're looking at it from a health point of view, right? So someone who is not strength training would be at a greater risk than someone who is strength training. So at the same time, somebody who is eating unhealthily will be at a greater risk than someone who is eating healthily. Someone who is not drinking water at all. And remember, there's some people that literally hardly drink water. No, and they say, oh, but I drink, well, they drink other things. The truth is, at the end of the day, you still need water. Water would only be water, right? And so water, now it passes through the body, it keeps the body hydrated, and at the same time, it also cleanses the body and it removes toxins and waste products. You know, the body is always producing waste. Every time you eat, right? Every time you drink, there are metabolites or breakdown products of the food and the drinks that you consume. Even the medications and the vitamins. Now, you're taking a medication or medications for particular ailments, whether it's the cold or the flu or whatever it is. Remember, when the body breaks it down, when the liver breaks down the medication so that you can absorb the good part of it, it creates waste, right? So so after the body burns out the medication, absorbs the active ingredient, it throws out the waste. Now the liver is what has to break down the waste, and then we excrete it. Well, excrete the waste as well. So it's a number of factors. So strength training now. Now the heart is the organ that has to be pumping constantly, all day long, all night long. The heart is constantly pumping. Now, like any muscle or any other part of the body, you have to keep the heart healthy. The heart needs to operate at its optimal by having enough water, and it also needs to be exercised, right? By us strength training or exercising on the whole, you actually keep the heart healthy and you keep it in condition. If you don't strength train, right, your body one would not get rid of the excess fat, and the fat itself clogs your arteries, makes you unhealthy, and that's what encourages the development of one, high cholesterol, diabetes, and what's the other one? High blood pressure. Now, in recent times, with most studies, there's also that connection with cancer, right, and parasites. What they're now finding that there's some association with cancer development and the amount of sugar, right, which is another thing, the amount of sugar we consume, right? So in addition to the strength training, you're still encouraged to also be on a low calorie or low sugar diet because sugar itself is unhealthy. We don't need it, right? So it comes down to a number of factors: strength training, balanced diet, a balance of carbohydrate, fats, and protein. Carbohydrates is sugar, so not too much sugar. The healthy carbs. I mean, that's a whole topic for itself because we could also start to break down what are the healthy carbs, what are the healthy fats, right? So I will just give you one. Avocado is a healthy fat. I could also talk about coconut oil is a healthy fat, which you can use coconut oil as opposed to the other oils that you use for frying, or you should probably avoid frying. So you come down to all of those things, plus the weight training or the strength training. It just makes you healthier. It gives you it makes your body function better, makes your muscles function better. Because what you're aiming for is to have a better quality of life as you get older. Now, what we're seeing is that um, persons that generally would have lived an unhealthy lifestyle without the strength training, and we have examples to show even as early as in their 40s or their 30s, they're starting to come down with different ailments and whatnot, as opposed to another person who has been strength training all their life. You can even compare a 70-year-old that's been strength training as opposed to a 40-year-old that hasn't been strength training, and they probably will be at the same metabolic age,
Wow.
right? So,
You see, my concern there, Rudian, is that
mm,
whether or not what he is telling us there now, whether that should be a topic for, let's say, the federation having a special session for these associate. I mean, if I'm the Olympic Committee, for example, I will have a session where the bodybuilding and weightlifting and federation will have a session with the coaches or whoever it is of other sporting disciplines to explain to them the importance
Mm.
because to me I mean, we are not competitors, Rudian, but I'm a bit concerned that for the competitors. And by the way, it's not too late as far as I'm concerned because we have a number of young.
Young
It might
people.
be young people in
Yeah.
competitive sports in Grenada.
Yeah.
So it may still be a good start. To me, it may still be a good start. What you say, Rudian?
No, it was one of my questions to you, Michael, Mitchell, right? To ask you if you're working with the other federations. Well, what's your plan to work with the rest of the federations in Grenada? Because I think this is very important for them. And that's one question. And the second question is you talk about the exercising at a young age that I understand, that I get. It's very important. At what age and with your experience and your knowledge, should um, a young person, male or female, start using actual weights itself? At what age? Um, yeah, and is there a reason because of lack of growth? Can they, if they do start at a younger age and depend on what they're doing, can it stop their growth? But that was my knowledge. That's what I was told. But as an expert, maybe you could explain that better for me, and then I know what to do because I have kids that I coach
Mhm.
at a young age, and I don't do weight to them until they get to a certain age. So maybe you could
What's a
educate me
certain
now.
age? What's a
Well, I started
certain age?
high school kids where they're like 14, start at 14. So yeah.
Right. So generally that's a good age to start weight training, and that's lightweight training. No,
Mhm.
yes, I'm not the expert, but to be honest, I've heard exactly what you heard. Great. I've
Yeah.
always heard. Listen, if you give these children weights to lift too early, they're going to stunt their growth, right? But I think it's going to do a lot more than that, right? It's also going to hamper a lot, not just the growth, but muscle development and tendon development, ligament development. A lot of things could be affected by giving a child, just the same way, even an adult, too much weights.
Too much
So you're
weights.
not supposed to give children weights, but um, I see it still differently. Um, we call weight training lifting weights in a gym, right?
Hmm.
No, weight training, I think it's way broader than that because I'm sure you would have heard the term body weight, right? Body weight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
athletes first and foremost before they start lifting iron, so to speak, in the gym, I think the focus should be getting young athletes, um, encouraging them and getting them into carrying their own body's weight, right? So I'm just going to
Okay.
give you an example. And to be honest, we've been doing it, but probably we never thought about it. Just push-ups, for example, doing a push-up, and no, my 6-year-old can do more push-ups than I can do. I mean, but so the 6-year-old can carry his own body weight, and that should not affect his development and growth. And I'll be honest with you, that is weight training, right? And
Yeah.
you're talking about a 6-year-old doing a push-up. Um, a 7-year-old can do a pull-up, right? Now, doing pull-ups on the bar, that is you carrying your own body weight, and it is weight training, but it's just that you're doing body weight training, right?
Oh,
So we can focus. So I don't think we should worry too much. Although we're talking weight training about gym, no, the word gym could be a little misleading. And to be honest with you, if you look at the gyms now, what we saw as a gym back in the 70s,
the old days.
or 80s, or back in the days, all right, the no, the gyms they're actually changing. I remember going into gyms, way back as a kid, and it was just a lot of iron, 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 iron. And one of the things that I've noticed is that as time go on, um, the gyms have less and less equipment, right? Yeah. So the amount of equipment, and because I realize that the coaches now they're focusing on more on body weight and athletes or persons being able to carry their own body weight. I think that should be
Yeah.
the focus. Because what is also found is that effectively you can get the same results, right, from lifting weights or lifting iron. And about in changing, if you can change your form and change the way that you do things and get the same results from doing body weight exercises, which is still weight training. All right. Now
Yeah.
it's if you catch what I'm saying. You can
Yeah,
lift
I
iron,
understand.
but you can also carry your body weight in certain exercises and have similar effects. Right?
Okay,
So
so it
it,
doesn't
it
make a
comes down at the
so it
end of the
doesn't
day.
really make a
Pardon?
difference. It doesn't make a difference on the age if it's a female or a male. Certainly at that age, certainly good to start doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it comes down, you have to use a certain amount of discretion. Like you would have said, around 14, 15, you can start with weights, right?
Yeah.
But again, you would I have weights around my house, and to be honest with you, my 6-year-old picks up weights around the house. Actually, there he is. Oh, right.
That's
So
a
right.
6-year-old.
So
Yeah.
right. So I'm gonna meet you. So we'll finish up. I'll get to you just now. Right. Say hello. Right.
Hello.
Right. So weights. Right. Now a weight could be 100 pounds. Right? So, we generalize and say, should children or should a 15-year-old do weight training? So then you have weight starting from 1 pound all the way up to 100 pounds plus, right? So if my son here is doing weight training, right, he would lift a 1 pound or 2 pound,
Get
right?
you.
And but it's still weight training. But
So
sometimes the generalizing could be a little misleading,
yeah,
and we could
yeah.
confuse ourselves. And just the same way, the big, strong muscle men, you know, um, they pick up 100 pounds and they're doing this with 100 pounds, and you know, we
Uh,
struggling with 20. So again,
Alita, yeah,
it's
Alita
about
says fitness.
the amount of weight that you carry, the amount of weight that you use. It can't be too heavy for the person.
Okay.
Understand.
Alita says fitness training is next level intense. I love strong woman and strong man competitions. I've
Yes,
already taken part in 3 events. At my last event, Grizzle, I placed second in the women's category. Congratulations,
yes,
Alita.
yes,
Um, After all, at least there is a story we can relate to in
yes.
terms of Alita, again, there is the perception, we can't run away from it, that when it comes to weightlifting, bodybuilding, whatever it is, it's a man sport or it's a man activity, right? And at least you have to debunk the myth of of that. But what advice would you give someone who wants to begin exercising but doesn't know, where to start?
Right. So this is it. Begin exercising, and they don't know where to start because they think exercise could be dangerous or they don't want to do the wrong thing. I would say first of all, depending on the age, actually, I would say it's always the safest thing to do is to check your doctor first, right? So see your doctor, get the okay from your doctor, and you can go to a gym and talk to a qualified fitness instructor, right? And that's the best. I mean, I could say go on YouTube and whatnot, but the truth is, not everything that you see on YouTube is for you. And that's the same thing I say to our athletes as well. Um, Even the athletes that are competing. The coach would look at the athlete from head to toe and do an analysis of where they're at, their physique, where their weak areas are, where their strong areas are, and they would give them a program that suits them, right? No, what you get sometimes on YouTube is a generalized program that might not always be suited for you, right? So I would always advise seek help with one of the qualified trainers. There are a number of them around Grenada in the various gyms. Of course, some are better than some. But at least say, listen, I'm just starting. I need your help. This is my goals. I want to become fitter and healthier, or I want to become a bodybuilder, or I want to become a bikini athlete, or even I want to become a strong woman or a strong man. Just give details and have a conversation, and that's the best thing that I would recommend.
I will want to steal some extra time with you because I want us to talk a little more of some things I want to discuss here. But are there plans to introduce more young people to the programs, whether it's bodybuilding, weightlifting, fitness, through schools or community programs? I mean, how can you do an outreach program? For example, if Rudian has some folks in St. Patrick's who have interest in, weightlifting, bodybuilding, fitness, whatever it is, how can through, the federation, outreach programs to encompass them as well?
Right. So generally, our outreach programs, we depend on the gyms really and truly to find the athletes, identify the athletes. So the programs that you would do as a new athlete would start in a gym. So the various trainers in the gym, what they do is they identify the talent, and they would basically relay the information to us as the federation, because the training always comes down to the persons in the various gyms. Now, our outreach, our grassroots program, and this is what we'll be focusing on as a federation, is the young ones, right? Because I think that's where it's needed most at this point. Because the gym coaches and the various gyms, even in Caracol, we've had two gentlemen sign up with the federation within the past 2 weeks and shown interest to competing, if not in the CAC coming up, but in the competitions next year, right? So our outreach definitely will be focused on partnering with the Ministry of Sport and getting into the schools, and we're talking about primary school kids under 11 years, and as I say, bend the tree while it's young. Start at that age and getting the kids into health and fitness from that point of view.
So what kind of relationship do you have with the various gyms across Grenada where they could identify and then reach out to you guys? Is there something like that, a program like that?
You're right. So how the gyms? Well, Grenada is small, and everybody, we're all connected somewhere. So um, every member of the federation at this moment. So we have athletes from St. George's, St. Andrews, Carriacou, etc. They belong to various. They're not all from one gym, right? So we have athletes working out in different gyms, and we have a big chat group where we communicate from time to time. And the athletes themselves are the ones, together with the coaches, are doing the outreach. So it's really not that difficult. At the end of the day, I think our work needs to be on selling the whole idea of the federation to them, right? That's where I think we need to work with our outreach, and encouraging persons that listen, you can do it, because we have a lot of people that are still shy. They're not ready to compete or to go on a stage, or to take part in the competition. So that's our biggest challenge. They like the idea of working out, but when you approach them and you say, "Hey, give it a try," sometimes you get the pushback, especially from the woman.
So
Yeah.
one of the things I notice a lot in this part of the world, and even and here in Toronto, a lot of
Hmm.
females is in the gym, um, and it's not
They join the
only
gym.
it's not a season thing; it's an all year round.
Hmm.
And seen a lot of walking, and a lot of exercising. So it's something that is more than just the body fit; it's just the health part of it as well.
Right. Yeah.
And that is a big part of
Generally,
it. You know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
generally
well,
we get that people are generally more health conscious. I mean, we must admit as well. So, but let's say if you look at 100 persons, let's pull a sample of 100 persons. So, probably you might find 50 persons out of the 100 being health conscious and generally exercise, swim, dance. Because remember, there's Zumba and all the
Yes.
aerobics and all the nice things that the women do. So you have 50 persons that are generally about their health. Then out of that 50 persons, yes, you will find that that number would double, or well, around carnival time. When I mentioned season, I was
Yeah.
specifically referring to this season. That number will just grow exponentially, because it's carnival coming. You find persons popping up that listen, it's not just about health anymore. I need to fit into this swimsuit. I need to fit into this costume. So that's where the seasonal comes. So then the core of it, after carnival, you'll find the core of it, is going to fall back, and it's going to go back to just that amount. So, but we just need to get more persons seeing the advantage, the benefits of the healthy lifestyle and all of that, better living.
Well, even I can say as a testimony, even at my work, the officers are entitled to at least 2 hours of every day, and what you call PT Fit, right? Where you can go to the gym. Well, they expect you to do some fitness, whether it's go to the gym. I see some folks in their vehicle reading, this is get away. This is get away.
No, that's really good though. I like it.
Yeah, but
But,
so
but Michael, it's good to say that.
Please.
Yeah, good to say that. A lot of companies does that too. A lot of the bigger companies have that in a part of their day for their workers to get that 2 hour time. Yeah.
So what you find some officers will do is either they start with at least before, or they go towards the end and then they leave.
Yeah.
So after the gym they leave, or they come and prepare in their gyms, and then after they get dressed, and things like that. So you can do it morning, you can do it afternoon, before work, after. Some people just decide.
No, but that's really good.
Yeah.
But you know what we did?
Tell me, go ahead.
No, just that just brought me back to something that we did in collaboration with the Ministry of Health. A few years ago, we did something called a stress break. Right now, so we actually chose 5 minutes, right, in every day. So we did the program once a week. So what we did was we brought a trainer into the ministry and we had it televised, where we had a trainer doing stretches. So it started with stretches and just general movement, because it starts with movement, right? So I know that you might find that in fitness you have all the fancy movements, the Zumba and the whatnot, and all the different Tai Chi, but basically this is just to attract people, get them something that they like, right? But to be honest with you, all you need to do is move, right? So any movement, trust me, with everything there's the business part of it, right? So the business comes in where when the Zumba is the Tai Chi is better than the whatever and the whatever, right? But at the end of the day, just move. So we had a session every 5 minutes. So listen, especially for the persons that work in offices, you're sitting there all day. Just get up and move. So the trainer would say, listen, do these stretches, or even things you can do from your desk, And that was something that was supposed to develop, but it didn't, unfortunately, because it really went well initially. And that's something probably we can look at again. I got a bunch of ideas from this program, from YouTube.
Yeah.
And again.
Yeah. Before I ask you the other question, I see something. Mr. Sam is saying, Mr. Mitchell, thanks for your useful information. I think it is critical to share this information to help dispel the various myths and confirm the benefits. As a case study, I had high cholesterol a few years ago, and my physician suggested exercise in addition to medication to control it. After 6 months of mainly treadmill workouts, my medication is significantly reduced because my cholesterol levels are at unacceptable levels. It starts with simple walking.
Walking, yes.
Yeah.
Simple walking, right? Simple
movement. Right is a common. Right is an advertisement, Simple walking.
Yes, it is. Walking. But guess what? So the point I was making is, people, it's business. You can't make money off of walking, right? So I was just showing you why there's just so many different options, because at the same time, you need to enjoy it. So some people, so that's why they have so many different forms of exercise, right? Whereas you could just move. You can do anything you want. Once you move, you exercise, you burn calories, you burn fat, like the gentleman, right? So he's showing you that just by him moving, and he chose walking, he burned calories, he lost body fat, he lost weight. With that, his body functioned better. His blood was flowing better. He burned the fat from his blood, right? And he reduced heart disease. That's amazing. And that's where it starts.
Yeah, the cholesterol level, important.
Cholesterol, yes.
Grenada is, preparing for the Central American and Caribbean Bodybuilding and Fitness Championships in Guatemala. How are preparations progressing?
Preparations are going good. So what because we just came from the Roger Boys in May, so we basically have a core team. So the gentlemen that did very well. So we got a gold medal, we got a silver medal, we got a couple of bronze medals. So basically, we have those guys on a program to develop or improve on the foundation that they already have. Luckily, that we don't have new athletes that we're going to be taking to the CSC. They're all guys who's done it before. They know what's expected. So basically, they just have to enhance what they already have. But I would say preparations are going very well. Last year we got two pro cards at the CSC Games, which means that that's two overall winners in the bodybuilding and in the men's physique, and we got a junior first place, we got a physique second place, and we got a junior bodybuilding first place as well. So we're hoping that we repeat this year again and even do better.
Before I ask you a further one, so Edwin is saying companies have realized that these programs reduce the amount of individual calling out sick.
Yes.
Yeah, sick calls,
Yeah.
and I think that's why they invest a lot into these
A
things.
lot into these things.
They don't mind giving you an extra hour or two for fitness or whatever, because ultimately they know that so you have an 8 hour work day, 6 hours of work, 2 hours of whatever it is, they don't mind that, because ultimately it's benefiting the company, right?
Most of them build a gym in the company. Those big
Right.
companies, right?
Well,
Literally
when
build it in the company. So
when I mentioned that I am talking about a gym that is actually on the ground floor of
in the ground. Yeah.
of our place, it is there, But how competitive has Caribbean bodybuilding become over the decade? And I've noticed, you have been moving around with the teams and other competitions and things like that. So not just Grenada, but you have experience and witnessed throughout, the Caribbean in particular. And how competitive have you seen that sport in particular over the past 10 years? You have been involved in it for more than that.
Okay.
Your
So
assessment.
okay. So I'll be very honest with this question, but the answer could offend some. But I'll be honest, the quality of bodybuilding in the Caribbean, I think, would have dropped. Right? No, that might be good for some, it might be bad for some, because no, it's so the ultimate goal as an amateur bodybuilder is to win your pro card. Right? No, you start competing as an amateur and you win medals. No, once you become a professional bodybuilder, no, you win money and you get to compete in bigger competitions. No, what has happened in what has happened is that they have made it much easier for you to get a pro cards, right? So you find that there are many more athletes are getting pro cards. So back in the days of, I would say, Vaughn Francis and Damien Daniel, I mean, I've been around since these guys from since 2004, 2007, 2008. Vaughn got his pro card in 2007. And it was very difficult for him to get that pro card. He kept going away and placing. And then finally, I mean, he came with perfection, right? Then he got his pro card, and then he went to compete in an international competition in the US, a pro event. And again, you saw guys you never even, I mean, some guys, the guys you would normally see on TV, and so he competed against them. So it was just way more difficult. Now we have athletes. I mean, I don't know if it's that we got better at it as Grenada. I don't know if our team got better, but we have guys come in one competition and pro card. But I'll be honest, the quality of the competition that they're facing in the other islands is not as difficult as is not as before. It's easier. All right, that's just my view. And sometimes, I mean, to be honest, sometimes it's a little damning because I find that there are a lot of athletes that get their pro cards at this level and they're not ready for the pro stage, right? Because it's so easy. They have their pro card and then their careers end very quickly because the pro shows is like you're a pro and you're not ready for the competition that you're meeting out there. So we can't compete on the pro level with those athletes in the wider world. That's just my view on the competition at this point.
Yeah, there is Question there for you. Let me read it out. Mr. Mitchell, many people think they have to enter a bodybuilding competition to join the federation. Isn't it true that someone can simply become involved because they want to live a healthier lifestyle, improve their fitness, learn about nutrition, or support the sport? In other words, who exactly should consider becoming a member?
Right. So first of all, I've never taken part in in a bodybuilding competition. So I'm just going to start by saying that I'm not a bodybuilder. I've never taken part in a bodybuilding competition. Um, I can't start it because you all will wonder. Yeah. Anyway, so to answer your question is you don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to be a competitor. You don't need to take part in the competition. So remember, with every organization, we need an administrative body, for example. And I've been working with these guys for a very long time. So the structure is we have the president, the vice president, we have the PRO, treasurer, we have floor members, we have technical persons. That's the persons that understand how the competitions run. We have coaches. Um, I mean, just name it there. Right. We have the disciplinary committee because discipline is one of the things that we are very strong on. We also have the people that we also would need health personnel, and we have people that are on the anti-doping committee. No, the truth is, when we do our promotion, like even in this program, I was just looking at the write-up and it said enthusiast, bodybuilding enthusiast, well wishers. Am I right, Michael? So
Yeah,
generally, we always target everyone to become a member of the federation because the athletes can't do it by themselves. They need support, and that's where we come in. And the truth is, what how it is right now is that we have mainly athletes and a very few of us supporting. And yes, once you become a member, yes, there's opportunity because there are seminars, there are judging seminars, there are coaching seminars, and generally there's opportunity to learn generally about health and fitness. So we welcome everyone to the federation.
that's important and interesting indeed.
Yeah.
So, if we get ready to wrap up, Mr. Mitchell, so we talk a lot over the past hour regarding the myths and how people believe that when you talk about bodybuilding, what they think about, then the whole issue of weightlifting. Are there any plans to separate the entities, or any discussions or whatever, so that bodybuilding is bodybuilding, weightlifting is weightlifting, as we know in other countries where we have weightlifting federation, we have bodybuilding federation?
Right. So yes, there are a lot of plans. So I can go back a little bit. Now, generally, we as the someone just asked about the personnel besides the athletes. The truth is, the reason we are currently handling bodybuilding, weightlifting, strongman, strong woman, or any strength or lifting sport, right? We are handling every one of those again because we do not have enough personnel outside of the athletes to assist in the administrative, right? Administratively in organizing, right? These athletes, right? So recently, we would have applied to the International Weightlifting Federation for affiliation. Now, the Weightlifting Federation is affiliated or is a member of the International Olympic Organization. In other words, weightlifting is an Olympic sport. Now, we were accepted as a member of the International Weightlifting Organization. But what we were told is that for us to function, we cannot handle all both bodybuilding, strongman, and Olympic weightlifting. So we were advised that we need to separate the federation into Grenada Bodybuilding Federation and Grenada Weightlifting Federation as two separate entities. Right. So talking about administrative persons and persons to support us in this change, I'm using this opportunity for persons to come forward to assist because currently um, we are, and I'm saying we, or I am, together with my team, we're handling all of this. And it's really a lot for us to do. So we're begging that persons that may have experience in organizing or that can contribute, not only financially, of course, but that can contribute some of their time in, in getting the Grenada weightlifting organization off its feet. So we are at the point now where we have already been accepted, one, by the Grenada Olympic Committee, two, by the Commonwealth Weightlifting Organization, and three, the International Weightlifting Organization. What is the next move? What's holding us back? What's holding us back is that we have to pay affiliation fees, right? And basically that's the next move. So there are two sets of affiliation fees with the Commonwealth Organization and also the International Federation. So together, we're probably looking at about um, hmm, maybe about, let's say, about 1,200 US, I believe, right? That's basically for us to become affiliated. We have already been accepted, but we need to pay. Right, so that's the next move, and then we have to look at a new executive for the weightlifting. So because we will be running the Grenada Bodybuilding Federation and also the Grenada Weightlifting Federation. Now, currently, I'm in charge of both, and that has become very difficult. So I will have to make a choice. I cannot do both. So I'm again, using the opportunity to say, come forth. This is not just for athletes, but this is for organizers. Remember, I've never competed in a competition in my entire life. And you don't have to compete to be part of this. You can be part of this movement, right? Remember, the ultimate goal, besides the competition, is to promote a healthy lifestyle, health and fitness across Grenada. Well, across Grenada in the first instance. But we are going to spread that health and wellness electricity throughout the world. Because Grenada, I mean, right now, we are trending, all right? And well, a verse from a song, once we touch down, the whole place shell down. And this is basically what's been happening. We have been winning, we have been doing very well as a federation, and we intend to do so. And moving into the new field of weightlifting, Olympics, here we come. We have never competed in Olympics weightlifting, but I'm hoping that we can get this together soon enough so that we could actually send a team to the next Olympics. So, guys, it's just just begging, come on board. Michael, continue promoting us. We are very grateful for the exposures that we get today, and we're looking forward in doing a lot more things, right? So we do need the support of everyone for the success of our federations.
Do you have a situation where you have bodybuilders as weightlifters as well? I mean, you have that situation where you can be both?
Well, I hope they are listening. Yes, we have a problem with that because no, we have some bodybuilders that are also weightlifters, and I'll be honest with you. As one of our coaches, Damien Daniel, he says it all the time. Just to quote him, he say, "Listen, guys, you can't serve two masters at the same time." And that's how we look at that. The training for weightlifting is separate, is different from the training for bodybuilding, right? So remember, bodybuilding is about the physique, how you look, how you present yourself on the stage, whereas weightlifting is about form and strength, right? So it doesn't matter at the end of the day how you look, or if you have a small waist, or if you have big calves, or anything of the sort, which comes into play with the bodybuilding. It comes down to, do you have the correct form so you can take that weight from point A and bring it to point B, right? Are you strong enough? Are you competitive? So these are the things. The ultimate goals of the two are different. So so what we say. So the guys that want to do both, they're actually hampering their growth in one.
Well, with the prospect of a separate entity, you probably may see them moving from one to the other. But one person that we hope that may be able to go into the gym soon is Roger Duncan, your good pal, Roger Duncan. In fact, your former classmate, right? He says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Mitchell. Your dedication and
Great,
diligence are admirable. Stay the
great,
course. If you
great
can,
is the
if you,
GBSS.
yes, and if you can bring
You
some of
know,
your former classmates
no,
like Roger Duncan and Ali Gill and all these guys back
oh,
to the gym, you know."
Michael, I don't know if it was appropriate, but I've been wanting to say this for the last hour. Great is the GBSS. So now as I get the opportunity, I'm going to say
I know why, but that's all right. I know why. Luckily, we boy Toro will come on in a while, but that's for another thing.
it.
Don't start him up, you know. It start with the university, the
Yeah,
GBS, and all of
yeah,
that.
yeah, and then you're gonna recruit me from Bangor
Yeah,
College to GBSS. So,
yeah.
so yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but certainly, that's good to know about the federation, and you know, folks, we looking forward to people who have an interest. Have you decided yet, Mr. Mitchell, whether you will go to bodybuilding or whether you go to weightlifting? I mean, you're carrying both now, but at some point in time, you have to separate. Have you
Well, I've
decided?
already decided. Yes, I have decided.
You started. Okay, so you have decided. Okay.
I've decided. Yeah. Once I got since December last year, I've decided that I know which one I'm going to move. I'm going to go to, or which one I'm going to leave. Yes, I have to. I can't do both. It's a lot.
All right.
So yeah.
And before we go, let me give you the opportunity. I mean, you know, it's nothing bad to do, but
Mhm,
I mentioned you are, you know, a pharmacist by profession, but you also in other
mhm.
businesses. Let's talk. Well, when I say let's talk, you can use the opportunity to talk about, you know, your involvement in, you know, fitness itself. You know, gym and fitness and wellness and all these other things.
Right. So that is a whole book for itself, But I could start. I'll start with Fit for Life Health Club. It's a gym that I started in 2012. We currently closed because of COVID. We couldn't sustain being closed for all the months that we were closed after the onset of COVID. Yes, in 2020. So we closed the gym, but that evolved. It evolved into Fit for Life Medical Services, which is a clinic Fit for Life. We currently have three locations. The main headquarters is in Grenada, so we look at it's a multidisciplinary medical center, a medical service center where we have a bunch of doctors. Basically, we cover almost every specialty that there is. We have general practitioners, we have gynecologists. Know what I'm saying. In other words, we have more than one. We have pediatricians, we have cardiologists, we have urologists, we have general surgery. So it's a medical center. It's located, the main one is located in Granada, opposite Excel Plaza. And we have a operating theater there as well, where we do general surgery. Um, our general surgeon and my business partner, my medical director, is Dr. Teron Houston. He's been a general surgeon. He also works in the general hospital. Yes, Dr. Teron Houston. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's in charge of our of the medical part of Fit for Life Medical at this point. So besides the headquarters, which is in Granite, we also located at St. Andrews. That's upstairs the Baines building, and we're located in Guelph. The other business that we affiliated is Allied Laboratories. We're a full laboratory that we cater for medical lab testing, that's urine, stool, and blood. And we also cater for food and soil testing. So we also do all forms of laboratory work at Allied Laboratories. So as well, we have three locations for now. There is St. Andrews, and there's Grove, and there's also Grandans, opposite Excel Plaza, which is our main headquarters. Um, Also, well, I'm a pharmacist by profession. My specialty, my master's is in um, health management, and we also operate Mitchell's Health and Wellness Pharmacy, which we currently have two locations: one at Excel Plaza in Grandans, and one at Spice and Moore. Um, So besides pharmaceuticals, we also do a lot of herbal medicine, where we focus a lot on herbs and also bodybuilding and bodybuilding products, obviously. And we focus on weight loss. We focus on wellness on the whole. I'm also involved in a pharmaceutical distributorship. It's called Emporio Grenada Limited. It's a partnership with Pharmacist of the Year 2025, Mr. Kelvin Dragon. Yeah, so basically we distribute pharmaceuticals to a number of pharmacies across Grenada and Carriacou and Pittsburgh. I think that's all that I'm involved in for now.
Well.
Um,
COVID was a blessing too, in a way, a blessing in disguise, because
why
you
would you say
Fit
that?
for Life, well, Fit for Life, as you said, was affected, but out
Yeah.
of that,
Mhm.
I mean, all that you mentioned there, I mean, to me,
Yeah.
for you, it became a blessing, because Fit for Life got affected, and like a lot of other businesses were affected, but out of that sprung so many opportunities, you know.
Right. So I like the idea of thinking like you are, right? Yes. It was a blessing. But so I'll be honest with you, pharmaceuticals sold a lot during COVID, but it costed me quite a lot of money to close Fit for Life gym, right? So basically I started over. But I would like to think like you know, that's my consolation. So when I look at my bank account and I'm seeing how bad I did during COVID, you know, and I'm seeing how bad it was, I like to console myself by saying what you just said. It's a blessing. So let's put it this way. Yes, I'm still alive, and I have to be thankful to God is that I know I was able to start the bounce back process. Right. So yes, other businesses would have evolved from the gym, and yeah, we try to keep the health and wellness mission going. And and it also marries well with the bodybuilding federation and what I do as my hobby.
Yeah. That's important, and that is what I meant when I
Right.
talked about the blessing. So almost like a blessing in disguise. But our good friend Toro has just resurrected. He says, "I'm out coaching the Canadian World Cup team." So he really believes that Canada will make it through. So he's out coaching. Yeah, I know. I know he's out coaching, but he's also watching West Indies. Yeah. But
Wow.
that's good to hear, Mr. Mitchell, and we will just want to wish you all the best.
All the
We have
best. Yep.
seen quite a bit happening with what you have been doing, particularly in leading the charge for the federation and those young folks. And I want to thank Troy as well for assisting me in terms of that. That's Troy Gill I'm speaking about, and I've been looking at some of the recent, the photos and thing. I think the last thing would have been the boys championship in Barbados. Is it boys?
Roger Boys, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
Roger
Roger
Boys
Boys.
championship, and the guys did pretty well, and
Did it
things
pretty
like
well,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, and as you said, when you look at probably the quality of competition, and knowing for a fact that many years ago, Grenada was once the top in the OECS in terms of bodybuilding when we had the OECS
Yes.
bodybuilding championships.
And CSE. We were the top of CSE for quite a while. The names are called Ron Francis, Damon Daniel. They basically controlled the Caribbean for that period, right? Yes. All,
Yeah.
all up to COVID. All up just
So
before
so
COVID, yes.
Fit for Life gym was and still one of my best gym I ever worked. Right. Okay. Fit for Life.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So the names you mentioned, yeah, Vaughn and Damien, and we have seen some of the lawmen, particularly in Grenada, had an interest in again. I'm not
Yes.
sure whether it was bodybuilding or weightlifting, because they say once
A
you're in the gym,
combination.
you know, you're doing
Right.
everything.
You know, so
Yeah.
generally, I know people don't know the difference. You know, because there's weightlifting, there's powerlifting, there's strongman, and there's bodybuilding. Basically, it's four. Right. So I want to take the opportunity also to acknowledge our vice president. That's Marcus. He is the strongman. He's a pro strongman as well. He's also under our federation, and he would have represented Grenada also regionally and internationally. He would have won in China. He would have won in the US. He would have won over. So sometimes the strongman, no, so that's the one where it gets a little bit more interesting in that they're not just lifting weights. They're pulling trucks. They're throwing sandbags. They're lifting stones. It gets a little bit more interactive. Um, so he follows in the footsteps of our, Grenadian Mark Felix. I'm not sure who is familiar with the name. Mark Felix is 6 times the world's strongest man. He would have competed for UK for a number of years, and he's still relevant. So Marcus is the one doing those competitions now. He's scheduled to travel to Las Vegas next month as well to compete in a Las Vegas strongman competition. Right. So just to mention that, but we have a little challenge there. So we're not sure if that is going to happen, like I would have told you, Michael. So I mean, still we're actually watching to see how that one turns out.
And
Yeah.
well, you mentioned Mark Felix, who was in Grenada last year for
Right.
the Glory Games
Glory
2025.
Games. Yes.
Are there plans for
Yes.
the Glory Games 2026?
Right. Of course. So so we're currently working on a number of things. So let me set up. Right. So first of all, we're working on a intercall Glory Games. Right. First and foremost, together with the ministry, we would have already identified the date, which is in October, where we're going to have an inter secondary school strongman competition. Right, it's going to be a partnership with the Bodybuilding Federation and the Ministry of Sport. So we're currently working on that, trying to put the events together, and then we're going to launch it to the schools as soon as school open in September. Um, After that, we're also going to be doing Glory Games in December, right? But this Glory Game is going to be a little different. We are inviting athletes from across the Caribbean to compete in the strongman aspect. So last year we had athletes from Trinidad. I believe we're getting a couple more this year, and we're probably getting some athletes from some other islands. What we incorporated into this competition is some youth events where we're gonna include some of the teenagers from the secondary schools. Also, we're gonna include an athlete or two from the Special Olympics or the Paralympics as well, to show inclusivity. Like it doesn't matter what your challenge is, you can weight train, you can lift weights, basically. And one of the athletes I've been looking at, we've been following this athlete in Trinidad. He has only one arm. It's amazing. Um, Michael, I'll send you the video. So there's an athlete in Trinidad who's interested in coming to compete in Grenada. He only has one arm. He has yeah, and I don't know how he does it, but he's strong. So so that's one of the things we want to do. So we have the October interqual competition, and then we have the December Glory Games. So for this Glory Games, also we want to bring back a bodybuilding show. So I'm throwing it out there now. So once you're into bodybuilding, fitness, a special appeal to the woman in the bikini. Once you're into strongman, we're encouraging you to start getting ready because as soon as Carnival is done, we're going to start preparing for Glory Games 2026, which is going to be 2 days, one day for bodybuilding and another day for strongman and weightlifting. Right. So basically, that's it for this year.
Mhm. Well, I hope this year you can put some
Mm.
extra weight for the Prime Minister. I know last year he had
Oh,
some,
huh.
yeah, he had some weights, but I believe it was featherweights. Put a little extra
Right.
for him.
Yeah, I think he's training. I think he's prepared. So,
He's preparing, yeah, because
Okay,
it
good,
was
good,
it
good.
was it was
Yeah.
him and
mhm.
Mark Felix, I think, that were
You're right. Yes,
going.
they had a
Yeah,
special
that were
event.
going.
Yeah.
They had a special event for that, and
Mhm.
get people like some of the parliamentarians. Andy seems to be one who, Andy Williams seems to be one who is involved in that. So probably you can get him involved with that. And I think it's a sport where you can basically go around and identify because like Rudy and I always
Right.
saying, if we have to choose, we can get basketballers, we can get volleyballers, we can just go around the island and we see this tall guy, this tall, and we say, hey, we want you to be a basketballer, we want you to be a footballer, we want you to be a cricketer. I will go around and I say, I want you to be a bodybuilder or weightlifter, you know. You have to start identifying talent, you know, and by reaching out to people and just say, you can be a good bodybuilder or good weightlifter, you know, and you never know, they may show an interest.
That's how we do it, eh? But I could give a story, you know. So I had a run with a young lady, you know. So I saw her, I looked at her and I said, hey, you know, you look good, you know, you could do bikini, but you know, she took it the wrong way,
Oh my,
you know.
yeah.
Right? So since then I'm a little bit timid. I mean,
Yes,
in approaching the
the
ladies.
approach, right?
The
Yeah.
approach,
No, yeah.
So that's why you may have to look. Go ahead.
I've stepped back, you know. So I'm saying for the ladies, if you realize we've only been having men. So I've stepped back from the ladies, and you know, so I'm actually begging the rest of my team, you know, even maybe Roger Duncan to assist me, you know, yourself
Yeah.
in identifying the lady talents, you know, and just once you identify them, give me a call, you know.
Yeah, well, one of the things too is that probably until such time that you have some women who are willing to come forward and you can use as a promotional aspect of it, then they might be saying, hey, well, if she can be, I can be as well, you know, and that may be able to inspire some of them. That can be a selling point, you know, how you may be able. But I'm interested a lot of my interest peak a bit about the intercall championships. How you intend, I know it's still preliminary, but how you intend to have such a thing? I mean, how the schools or the zones, I mean, how it would be coordinated.
Right. So basically, I know they're working on a relay. Is it relay? It's a relay competition. Right. So basically, because we're doing it's strongman, you know, like there are throwing, there are strong athletes, whether they throw discus, shot put, or this or javelin or these events like that. I think those will be the targets, and we will select 5 events that the athletes are going to compete in. Um, One of the events we will select is a truck pull, because we realize the truck pull creates a lot of interest. You know, so you know the young people, I think they'll all be interested in who could pull the truck the fastest, right? So that'll be one of the events. So the schools will be responsible for selecting their representatives to compete. All right, and so we already chose the day, and the rest of it is just to put it together and you know let the Ministry of Sport do their thing. All right. So the Ministry of Sport will work it
That'd be
in to
interesting.
their schedule.
That'd be interesting again. I wonder if it'll be another showdown between the boys in the east and the boys in the south.
I mean, them fellas up there.
You know, when we talk about intercall, then they will say that will be strength, you know, what you're eating and all these sort of things. So that would be interesting. But I think that, to me, will be a very interesting event among the schools that will have interest, just as how we have intercall track and field championships, just as how we have the intercall drum corps championships.
Right.
I believe the intercall, that should be a big one that we can probably look forward to. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So thank you very much, Mr. Mitchell, and all the best. And
right, thank you for having us.
Yeah, and
Yes.
young Mr. Mitchell, probably we probably will see you very soon. I believe we may see you very soon, Mr. Mitchell. He's trying to get himself on. All right, then.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Right?
Thank you.
Let's keep the mission running.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that's Mr. Cecil Mitchell, who is the president of the Grenada Bodybuilding and Weightlifting Federation, speaking to us, Rudian. But that last part there,
yes, for sure,
is interesting, and I think it will assist in the development of the sport, and well, not just the sport, because as we say, some people look at it as a sport, some people look at it as fitness and all of that, and you know. it should do well, and they can use that as an opportunity to recruit and to grow the sport. So you have bodybuilding, you have weightlifting, and you know, and how we can get more young women and women involved, because certainly it's a task for them to debunk that whole aspect of women, because once you think about gym, they think about muscles, they think about, you know, and you explain it.
That's what they gotta. That's what you gotta educate them. And educated part have to be in place, so that they understand that. And I think sometimes the misconstrued of what something is a problem. So definitely.
And what may be important too is that if they can do some of the promotions, like some videos from actually inside of, let's say, typically in a gym, for example, what happens in a gym, and what are people doing in a gym, because they might be in a gym for various reasons, right? So you can speak to this person who say, I'm just here to tone up, I'm just here as a regular, I come to the gym every week, you know,
every week,
for this, I come to the gym for that. You might find somebody who is probably in the gym, as he says, for the season, for carnival.
For the carnival,
for carnival, you know, and you might find somebody who's in the gym as a sports person, you know, some competitor.
Definitely.
Someone who uses the gym as part of their routine training. So it may be a footballer, it may be a cricketer, an athlete, a netballer, or someone. And I'm certain, you know, we have some of our elite athletes who are based in Grenada, and they use the gym as well.
And they use the gym as well. Even people who travel. Nowadays, people who travel, they always look for a place to go. That is very important too.
Yes, there are people who are gym freaks. So once they travel, they tend to look for a gym to do their work. I can give you an example. A few years ago, we brought Junior Murray to New York to do part of the GBSS Old Boys. And one of the things that he had inquired about was a gym. So we had to organize for him to get to a gym.
While he was there.
It was part of his routine. He has to go to the gym.
Routine.
These are some of the things that guys do, that once they go into, they travel, they know, okay, I have to go. So they make even preparations ahead of time.
They double check, and because people are on vacation and they in the gym, like they're making sure that's part of their routine. So
there's a question there for you, Rudian. Edwin wants to know how your athletes performed last weekend.
Wasn't the greatest. We had some bad weather. So it was really bad. It was bad weather, but no excuse.
And bad weather, especially for the jumps, eh?
It was a Canadian championship, so whether or not you have to perform, you know, she still have another few more opportunities to make World Juniors, so we have up until the 19th of July, so we do have some competition coming up, so let's see what happens. But she's very close. That's the thing about it. She's very close to jumping world standard, right? So that's the she have done it in practice, but practice don't count. So that's why we have to do it in competition. So that's the important thing. So
for folks who are wondering, there's cricket on. West Indies 492 for 5. What's their lead like? I'm trying to find their lead, but I can tell you that we have two Centurions. Django, he's on 187 not out, and Chase, he's the captain, he's on 144 not out. So Django 187 not out, Chase 144. West Indies lead by 184 runs. And it's tea time now. Wow, West Indies against Sri Lanka in the test match. That's interesting. Development.
Very interesting.
And then in all of that's happening, by the way, the West Indies women, they lost T20.
I saw that.
They lost against Ireland today. And also, don't forget there's World Cup, right?
World Cup.
So West Indies now need England to beat New Zealand in the final, be Group B game to reach the semi-final. So West Indies have to hope that England beat New Zealand, which is a possibility for them to get into the
For them to qualify.
So
Yeah.
there is still a possibility.
It's still
However,
a possibility.
Rudian, before we end, let's spend a few minutes on this World Cup because a lot's happening. And I don't know if Edwin is still on, Toro is still on, but
Yeah.
it's interesting. I can say that.
Oh, it is. Listen,
Which team?
48 teams. 48 teams for football fans was a great idea.
Well, yeah. And I have to take issue with Toro on that because Toro was one who was sort of against that because
against it.
But I believe it did well.
Very well.
I was about
to ask the results. We have seen the results.
Before I put it up, I want to ask the question. So I would put it up here, Edwin. I know you jumped the gun, but I was asking the question: which team is your Cinderella team for the tournament so far? Which team is your Cinderella team?
Where they at? I will tell you in a second. Cote d'Ivoire.
Cote d'Ivoire is your Cinderella team?
Cote d'Ivoire? Is it Cote d'Ivoire? Yeah.
Cote d'Ivoire is Ivory Coast, right? Yeah. So
no, not Ivory Coast. The other one. What's it? How do you pronounce it? That small nation, Cape Verde. Cape Verde.
Right.
Cape Verde. Yeah.
Okay. So,
sorry for that. Yeah, Cape Verde.
So we are the same. So Edwin is saying.
Yeah, Cape Verde. Cape Verde. Yeah.
Well, they say Cabo Verde now.
Cabo Verde. Cabo Verde. CABO, Cabo Verde. Yeah.
They changed. Well, there was once Cape Verde. They changed it to Cabo.
Cape Verde as well at one point.
This small
African nation.
For small African nation is about 10 island chain, about 10 islands that make it up.
Yeah. Half
of the coast of
half a million people. Yeah, half a million people.
With half a million people, and first time in World Cup, and I am. How many professional players they have on that team, boy? I'm gonna say professional players.
Like playing, yeah.
Flight football.
Yeah.
Whether it's Barcelona, I don't think they have that many. Most of the players come from their league.
From their own league.
Once, they were once colonized by Portugal, so they
Portugal. Yeah.
Background heritage. In fact, they got independence right around our time in 75. I think back then in 75. So they're about the same age as Grenada, right? And they have similar. They have just apart from the population, they have similarities as the Caribbean. In fact, the mainstay of the economy is tourism.
Tourism?
Yeah, tourism. And they have a lot of issues as relates to some of the issues relate to, food shortage and all these other things. But it's a country that is deep and steep with pride now because they cause a lot of problems. And teams cannot look at them as just, walk over,
I think based on that, I think in terms of known teams, I believe one of the goalkeepers is playing for San Diego. And I think that's it. Yeah, I don't think nobody else.
San Diego is what in MLS or whatever.
MLS in the MLS. Yeah, and I think that's the only thing that I know of any other players playing in known clubs.
I thought the goalkeeper was in a third level.
But there's three of them. So one of them.
Oh, one of them. Okay.
One of them. Yeah, there's three of them. The youngest one is 25. Yeah.
And when you check at the age of the players as well.
Oh, the players. Yeah. Well, one of the goalies is 40.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. The age is really high up. Yeah.
And I want to agree with Gordon. Good afternoon to Gordon. He's saying that the Golden Boot is wide open.
I don't know.
But
I
no,
don't know
no,
yet.
no, no. Yes, it's wide open in the sense that we have to look at. You never know what can happen between now and the final.
And the finals. Yes, definitely.
If you say up to now, if you say up to this period in time, yes, you can probably identify one or two,
Identify
right?
one or two here.
But
Well, one.
if you have to go further, you never know what can happen because players can outperform others, outscore others, right?
Yes.
And therefore, it's wide open because you have a lot of games to be played still. I mean, yes, knockout, you're going into the knockout stage at some point,
Yeah.
but you never know what can happen.
You got four players, and you got four players, four phenomenal players. Two France, one Norway, one Brazil on four goals. Then you have Messi, and they all play, and that's all out of 3 games. Only Messi that haven't played his 3rd game. I don't know if he's going to play today or not. They may not play him. Who knows, right?
Right.
If they don't need to play him, I mean, they're moving on, right? But if they want to play him to go for the golden boots, they're going to play him, and when he score 1 or 2 goals, they probably might put him up. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think it's about going for the goal. Right now, you have to be going for the trophy, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think the stars, and when I say the stars, those players who are identified as top rated for the various countries, Argentina, France, Portugal, do you think they are now coming out? Because there was the talk that Messi is overshadowing someone like Ronaldo from Portugal. But then you see what happened, right? As soon as Messi, performed, Ronaldo responded,
Yeah.
And then you have Mbappe, and then you
Mbappe,
have Neymar just got a few minutes.
And then Junior from Brazil, and then Haaland. Haaland is the one that he's the one that is there. And no, definitely. But I mean, that's a World Cup, right? It's like you're saying that should you play LeBron or not? You have to play. The idea is to win, and to make a statement in a sense, right? So. If you get opportunity, I see so many opportunities in some of these games, and almost guys looking for the foot. They're looking for the foot to kick the ball, and they're in the 60-yard box, and it's like you're still looking for your foot. Like they don't know how to kick with the left or to kick with the right, so they have to turn the ball around, and then they lose the ball. So I always go with former principal, Mr. Toussaint. Always say goal win matches. So if you don't score goals, either you tie or you lose. So you gotta score goals. Yeah. So, but the World Cup is interesting. It's very interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
So let me go with what Toro is saying first. Time for the first round to end. There were some good matches, but there were too many farcical Mickey Mouse games. The real World Cup is about to start. And the tournament will be one by one of the regular usual suspects. Cape Verde has been my most impressive team, but by the last 8, all the African and CONCACAF teams would have returned home on Spirit Airlines. All right, France is playing the best soccer so far. Then he says, hold on, let me just read it. He said, one of the French players in the golden boots, Neymar, Mr. Fake, saw all the star boys scoring. So he came on to see if he can become a star boy too. Brazil has to play much better football to go beyond the second round.
Yeah. There've been some disappointment with some countries, to me. But they've been playing in very hard pool, like Senegal.
Oh, Senegal, yeah.
Senegal was in a hard pool. Then you look at the team that lost last night, Uruguay against Spain. Uruguay.
Yeah.
That was a disappointment too, because now they're going home. But you had opportunities, which was the you have a team like you guys coming in and you guys cannot win a game. It's like Like, what's going on? So you put yourself in this position, and then in the end, you try to fight to come out of it, and that's where the issue comes in. No, I've seen teams that I'm very nervous about coming out of some of the groups. I'm very nervous for Brazil. I am very nervous for Brazil playing Japan. Very, very nervous for Brazil.
Well, that is where, yeah. I mean, how do you say nervous? And I was wondering, playing Japan.
Playing Japan.
Because, Japan, South Korea, these teams, they can probably hold you hostage.
All the way through. Yeah.
Yeah, they can hold you hostage.
Yeah.
And this is where you probably will be separating the boys from the men.
Yeah.
And I am certain that it's not a situation where Brazil will take a chance and say, oh, let me play some of these players. Let me, rest some of these players because we have a bigger fish to fry after Japan. No, you have to take Japan you have to play Japan as if you play the final.
Yeah. And now you're going to see some really good games. The way Germany played, now they play in Paraguay. Listen, if they play the same way they played the last game and they did lose, they're not moving on. Another really good game is Netherlands and Morocco. That is another really good game. France and Sweden. It's the one. And our good friend, as he just finished coaching the Canadian team. I certainly believe our Canadian could win. I believe our Canadian could move on to the 16. And then, from there, I don't know.
Well, they're playing South Africa tomorrow.
Playing South Africa, yeah.
And unfortunately, they have to head off to Los Angeles.
They have to do it in Los Angeles, yeah.
Los Angeles. But let's look at today's game. The first two games will be Panama versus England, right? And Panama is out.
Yeah.
So I know they probably will be going all out to at least end the tournament. End the tournament with a win.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have Croatia and Ghana, right?
This pool, excluding Panama, was my pool of death. I talk about a pool of death, which was my pool of death, and it seemed like Ghana is in. It looks like Ghana is in, and Croatia is a must win. Like, no, I don't even think a draw will get them in. It's actually a must. It's a must win for them. So,
and then at 7:30, Colombia versus Portugal, and DR Congo versus Uzbekistan. Right? People may say this may not have much of an interest, but certainly the Portugal game will be interesting because the Ronaldo factor and all of that, and they will want to at least end as the group winners, And later on, we have Algeria and Austria. That's at the 10 o'clock game, and Jordan versus Argentina. A very late game, but certainly, again, you're looking at teams that, like Jordan and others, who have not been able to, and coming up against Argentina. And the strange thing that could happen is that Jordan surprised Argentina with a win, a 1-0, or a draw, these sort of things. These are things that teams like Argentina and them would not want to take chances with. So they will be playing these games against these teams if they're playing a final, because you never know what can happen, right? And that's why I'm saying, Rudian,
but what would happen? What would happen if Portugal lost and DR Congo win? Are they taking each other's spot? Are they switching spots? Is Portugal not going to be third?
So as it is now, Colombia is leading that group. Okay. 6 points. Portugal, they're on 4 points. Right? And they're playing each other. Right?
Yeah.
They're playing each other. DR Congo is a team that is a third place team that looking to get in. Right? And they have Uzbekistan. Right? DR Congo playing Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan most likely may not be able to. Well, I shouldn't say.
Yeah.
They beat DR Congo. If they beat DR Congo, they're ahead of them because DR Congo is on 1 point. Uzbekistan is without a point. A victory for them would put them on 3 points, and that victory is against DR Congo. So, which means that they put them ahead of DR Congo.
Yeah.
So that group itself, in terms of the third place team, is wide open. In terms of the winner of the group, it's also wide open because you have both Colombia and Portugal playing each other. However, Colombia is on 6 points. It means that Portugal has to win. They cannot draw if they want to win the group. They have to win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if they lose and the Congo win and they have the same points, who get to move on?
No.
Who gets second place?
No, but they have a goal difference, right?
So that means the Congo have to score a lot of goals.
Well, they'll have to score, yeah, because right now Portugal has a +5. They have a +5.
+5.
So that's the advantage they have, right? Yeah, they have a +5.
The Congo have to score 6 on them, right, to take that second spot. Yeah.
So that is where it's important for Portugal
to win
the game if they want to win the group and have a better season. But then again, we are on the outside. Scotland is definitely a team that would have been a big disappointment for Benny, because it seems as if Scotland is on their way home, right?
Yeah.
And many people thought that Scotland would have gone all the way forward. There's no way that the 8 teams now, the third, in terms of the third place team, Sweden, Ecuador, Bosnia, Paraguay, Senegal, Iran, Croatia, and South Korea. Those are the 8 teams for now.
8 teams that have that for now, based on the games today.
8 teams that will move for the third place team.
Yeah.
So today and tomorrow will determine, well, today in particular, because tomorrow is South Africa and Canada. And So DR Congo, like I said, DR Congo win, somebody's getting knocked out from the top 8 because they will have 4 points. So whoever has 3 points is getting knocked out. So that's why it's important to look at all the matches so far, because you have the last game between Argentina and Jordan. Well, not Argentina and Jordan. Jordan is out already, so it doesn't matter. It's just that Argentina and them probably would want to ensure that teams like Jordan and them don't humiliate.
Get that opportunity. Opportunity to win. It's like the last time when Saudi Arabia win, a lot of countries hold that up. Like Saudi Arabia is holding that up on them, right? Certainly, yeah.
And but you want to go into the knockout round on a high.
On a high, yeah. And there's not much team that have 9 points. I think it's just maybe 2. Mexico and I think somebody else is the only 2 teams that have the 9 points. I don't think much of them has the 9 points. But certainly, Michael, it's a good World Cup.
I would say
those countries you're thinking are going to come and get blown out they are surprising, and they are playing good football. It's not just joking around. They have been the defense on some of these countries is miraculous. Like they are defending very, very well. So some of these countries are defending a goal very, very well. So you see a bunch of hiccups there with some own goal or goalie cannot stop the ball going between the legs, and it's like, dude, come on, you're to stop that shot. But we don't know the power of the shot on the field. We don't even watch it on TV, and it looks like it's not that hard. But certainly,
and about the. Not so much complaints about the officiating, and I was impressed too with the involvement of a lot of women that were involved. Some of them had to whistle, some of them were the photo official,
Photo official, that was really good too. So the inclusion, and the whole system, the whole program of this football game with the rest, the water break.
That may be debatable because Rudian, there are folks who have been very critical of that because the question is asked who it benefits, because you have seen teams when you have the water breaks, they have lost the momentum.
Yes.
And so sometimes, yes, it may be because you find a team, especially in the latter part, a team might be able to regroup, coach will be able to give some last instructions, all these sort of things like that. So, and of course, the TV stations will benefit because they'll be able to run some ads.
Run some ads. Yeah. But is that I was, when FIFA do something, you tend to see it move on. So is it a thing of football now?
Well, that's a question, and whether or not it was because North America and the North American audience are more in tune to the these quarters, basketball and all this sort of
and that's the thing. That's what I was about to say. Most sports most of the sports have that break. In
right?
there.
Yeah. So
and I was told because of some places you go, the heat is overwhelming. It's very hot, so
whether or not we will see that as something that will become standardized in matches, or whether it's up to the tournament organizers to
it's a FIFA program moving forward. But to see coming out of FIFA to other leagues, we have to see. We're going to see if it works.
Whether or not they are, it's optional for them, and they can determine, hey, we can do that because of, and it's up to the referee sometimes to decide, because the conditions today could be different to tomorrow. So if you have a situation where you're playing a game under, extreme conditions, the referee may have the option to do that.
To do that.
Of course, they will have to probably consult with the teams and all this, whether or not that will be part. But it's interesting. It's debatable as well.
It is. And seeing how the World Cup was branched to 3 countries. We're seeing that is a thing of the future. Because the next World Cup is also going to be in 3 major countries, but 4 other countries are going to host the game. And one of those games is Argentina.
Well, no. It's not 4. I think it's 3 again.
3? Yeah.
Uruguay, Paraguay.
And Argentina.
Yeah, it's 3.
Will be hosting a game. Yeah.
Well, they will be hosting the first round of the games, right?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to see.
That's in 2030, right? 2030 FIFA World Cup, right? It will be interesting to see how, even in going forward, how that will be in terms of that.
Because Morocco, Portugal, and Spain is the main host, with games in Uruguay, Paraguay, and Argentina.
So Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay will be the 3 from the South America, right?
South American, hosting. I guess just opening games over there. I think.
As part of the centenary celebrations, right? So that'll be interesting, and whether
that'll be quite interesting. It's very interesting.
Forward,
and also just one more thing, and it's a money thing, right, Michael? Like, we're talking about over 6 million people or so. That is in the US, so probably a little bit more, or at least watching the games. Where you're looking at FIFA or the United States can gross up to about $300 billion based on these football games in gross, maybe in TV rights and in ticket sales and in people coming to the country. That is really good for a major sport.
George says, I'm still getting used to football, tugging, pulling, hugging, and t-shirt holding. Well, you have to be tough in football. They said that if you look at the IFAB rules now, they have been updating it basically every now and then. You have some rules that actually taking effect on the 1st of July. Some new rules that taking place. So you can Google IFAB and look for the rules, the updated rules, right? You have to be tough now. The pulling and thing, they're really blowing those things, and things like that. He says the poor referees often don't know when to blow and when to allow a play to continue. Hydration break is mostly about money for advertisers, broadcasters, and FIFA. Player concern is the PR couple. Waiting to see if GFA will introduce hydration breaks.
GFA should.
Well,
maybe that might help.
They may say the conditions
Yeah.
In Grenada, the guys cannot. The guys are not fit enough to run the whole 90 minutes. Blah, blah, blah. You never know. You never know. So that might just be a possibility.
That might just be a possibility.
Yeah,
Or they
you
might cut
never
it down
know.
to they might cut down the 90 minutes to 60 minutes. You never know.
Yeah, but you have to be.
I know.
But, Rudian, we have Diamond League on Sunday in Paris, but there were concerns because of the heat wave in Europe.
The heat wave in Europe, yeah.
Yeah, whether or not it will take place, but
Take place, yeah.
That it
And
will.
it seems like it seems like it's going to go on.
Go ahead.
My mom is traveling now. She was in Greece, and she said, "Boy, if you think Grenada is hot, come to Greece." So certainly there's a heat wave in that part of the world. So
The thing about it, as I was explaining to someone, is that in the Grenada context and primarily the Caribbean, is because we are small islands and it's just probably a few miles to the coast, any part
to the
of
coast, yeah.
right? Which even if you're in Granitang, the middle of the country or whatever, it's just a few miles to get to the coast.
Yeah.
So there is this cooling effect
Cooling
that
effect,
can
yeah.
take place, quickly. Unlike
Quickly, yeah.
the US, North America, whether it's the US or Canada, where you have to travel miles upon miles.
Miles and miles to
To the coast,
Yeah.
So it will be extremely, and then even in Europe, parts of Europe too, you have a lot of landlocked countries, right, that do not have a coast, they do not have a beach, they do not have they have what you call man-made lakes, and things like that. So these are some, and then again you have those who don't even believe in climate change. So
that's another thing. And even talking about that, just on another note, is very sad to see what happened in Venezuela with the earthquake, and the last toll I see was about 900 people.
900
and counting still, and
for bodies, right?
And that's what for survivors, and that's the thing we talk about, the climate change. It is a real thing. And certainly, one earthquake is one thing, but when you had a back to back, like when you put it together, it's like you put it together is a 14. When you think about it, right? It's a 7 and a 7. So it's certainly sad. But my prayers for sure is going out to them, and our prayers going out to them. Certainly,
the visuals coming out of Venezuela.
It's very bad, yeah.
And certainly we want to convey our prayers.
And then you have to be worried because they always that aftershock, right? That comes after, right?
Yeah,
so,
and it was again anything in Venezuela we always see so close to
it shook us, right? That's why when I look at it, my concern was really in Trinidad. I was really, really concerned. But when I look at the broad spectrum of it, it wasn't.
And that's why they had this initial tsunami warning or alert, but then it was because of that and because of this being so close, they had this tsunami alert. Because I thought about when I saw the initial bulletin, and then I started thinking about the aftershocks and whether that can affect the chain of islands. Including our own underground, underwater, I should say.
Underwater issue, underwater.
And continue, But, folks, what can we do? We just continue to pray.
And pray and trust in the Lord that it cover the Caribbean and especially Grenada.
And hopefully that the folks of Venezuela really recovered, because I know how much it is for them, because when you look at collapsed buildings and how they're trying to get to people, and people are saying that they knew people were in that building and they know there's somewhere,
they know there's somebody in there, they know that.
But one of the interesting things today I saw was a video showing about a child that was actually rescued alive, rescued alive, and that to me was interesting, because
it gives you hope.
The child was rescued. They don't know about
the mother or father.
Parents, and that's heartbreaking. Right, Rudian. So thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Yes. And hopefully you hang around for next week or so.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right. No problem.
And so that's Rudy and Sylvan, my co-host in Toronto. And folks, it's always a pleasure being with you. Initially, it was earlier, we had Mr. Cecil Mitchell, the president of the Grenada Bodybuilding and Weightlifting Federation. And coming out of that, we heard about the announcement regarding the Intercore Bodybuilding Championship. Well, bodybuilding, weightlifting, well, I still have to get my clarity on that. Because I'm one of those who have always been, about the bodybuilding, the weightlifting, and all these sort of things. But he was able to bring some clarity on that in terms of, and as well as an appeal to folks, especially women, who may have this myth that bodybuilding and weightlifting and all these things are just for people who want to build muscles and things. And there's no, we have various aspects of it, because you have the fitness, you have the wellness part, you have the physique, all this aspect of it. And as he indicated, there are those who particularly use the season, for example, the carnival season, to get to the gym, to get themselves toned up, as they would say, and then after Christmas, tone down, yeah. All right, Bass, you have to bring on my partner, the great Ben Johnson, one of these days. Well, I give you the opportunity to do the recruiting, Mr. Deputy, and once you do that, it'll be my pleasure to have your good partner, Mr. Ben Johnson, on the program. Thank you very much, folks. All the best. Do have yourself a pleasant weekend. And whatever you're doing, do it with some level of moderation as well. A lot of sporting action taking place. We have cricket, West Indies versus Sri Lanka, Test cricket, very good cricket going on. For those of you who believe Test cricket is dead, no, it's still alive. Batsmen are doing well. We have Django, who is on 198, sorry, I should say. He's approaching his double century. In fact, 199. Well, he got an extra run, right? And Chase is 150. So they're going good. So Django is just one run short of his double century. And whoa, that will be historic for him, because it's just his second test, and his captain is by his side, leading the chat, well, giving him good company. So West Indies 510 for 5. Yes, Toro. So your good friends as Betty and Harold and Ray and all those folks will be very, very happy. So you can tell them that superstar, West Indies superstar now, Django. And you are wondering who is bowling. Yes, it's Sri Lanka. It's playing, right? And when we look at the test ranking, Sri Lanka is a very good team. So don't believe this, as you wondered whether it's PBC that was bowling. He's just having fun. Yeah, but that's good. For the West Indies in particular, because they have been losing, they have been struggling, and it shows that they can apply themselves, that they can do it, and that is what folks wanted to see West Indies in terms of tests, being able to sustain, stay, make runs, and that is happening now. No, Mr. Man, they are playing Sri Lanka. It's not a weak team, right? It's not a weak team. Whether it's Sri Lanka, whether it's England, whether it's Australia, there are times that West Indies, do come true. It's just that they have to, apply themselves, Yeah, they just need to apply themselves. And if they can apply themselves, you never know. Oh, let me see the ranking, the test ranking for Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka cricket test ranking for the men, because I know the women, they're pretty much up there. But for the men, the men's team, all right. If you just bear with me, I'll probably get that in a moment. The current ranking as we see it now, Australia is ranked number 1, followed by India, England, South Africa, New Zealand, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Pakistan, West Indies, and then Zimbabwe. So Sri Lanka is ranked number 6, West Indies ranked number 9. So when they can play competitive against top ranked teams, I should say, it's always good. So I'll just put it up and laugh. Yeah. He says, tell them play Canada. All right, folks, that's all for the time. Do join us next week, God's willing. Do have yourself a pleasant weekend.